What are your thoughts on Brandon Aiyuk's situation?
Yeah, man. I try not to stick my nose in other people's business like that. I just focus on, what's going on with me and my business. I got all the love in the world for BA. Me and BA go way back,
Yeah.
to ASU days, 2019. So, how I feel about him specifically, it'll never change for him. He's been a huge part of my journey. He was the first receiver I'd say that, showed me the routes of what an NFL receiver looks like. Back in 2019, and even to this day, watching film, from Coach Hank and stuff like that, showing like how to run routes. So, I got all the love for BA, but I try not to stick my nose in that kind of business. I really don't know how he feels in that situation because just outside of football, we don't really talk too much about football like that, and specifically the business side of things. I just normally just ask like how he's doing, mentally, and I think that's honestly probably the most important part. I mean, I think he's doing fine. You know what I mean? It's hard because he's a quiet guy. He's to himself, but as much as I could reach out to him and show love his way because he's done that, throughout my journey. So. I'm just trying to pay my dues back to him, and I think he's doing good. Yeah, reach out to him as much as I can, check on him. Sometimes when you're in this business like this, you're always busy. He's busy doing his thing, so sometimes you're not communicating every single day like you would like to check on people like that. But when I can, when I get he pops in my head and I think of him, I'll reach out to him. Yeah.
He was warming up alongside you guys throughout camp and throughout September. So, was there a thought that he's going to be part of this season?
Yeah, 100%. I don't really know the logistics of how everything was going behind closed doors and stuff like that. But just seeing him out there on the field, warming up, running around, it made me happy because I know what he's been through with his knee stuff, and it was really good to watch him run around out there and potentially be on the field at the same time like we did in the old days. So I was excited for that.
We saw that and we thought, oh, he's making tons of progress. He's going to be out on the field for real sooner than later. I mean, is that part of it, that it just hasn't happened maybe as quickly as he expected? Is that part of his frustration?
I mean, I don't really know exactly what it is, but I would just look at it as the injury. It's a really rough injury. It's his knee. He's a receiver, and that's not an easy thing to come back from. Physically, mentally, all those different aspects of coming back from an injury like that. So I don't know how he was feeling specifically about how he was moving around, but he looked good, and I would always tell him that. And it sucks that it is the way it is right now because I would love to be teammates with him, but. Yeah.
Is all this news to you like it's news to us, or did you have a sense that he was going through some business stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much news to me too. Like I said earlier, when we talk to each other, it's just generally about like how's life, outside of football. I think, yeah.